section 3, 3A. So 3A says which customer has the lowest income, and we can just display the customer name. So in short, display the name of the customer who has the lowest income. Okay. So I'm actually going to write it out that way. I'm going to write out display the name of the customer who has the lowest income. And I'm really terrible with these THEs because I'm typing too fast. Customer who has the lowest income. So we're talking about customer, but we're also talking about lowest income. So let's find out what the lowest income is. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it in that second query. Or maybe make a copy of it. Because then we can get IntelliSense to help us out here. Min, cost, income. There we go. So we know what the lowest income is. We can take that, and as I've often said, we can say where cost income and put in any hard-coded values. So hypothetically, we could type in that number, but we don't want to. What we want to do is substitute it with a subquery. So we take a subquery to replace the value rather than hard-coding the value. That way, if we add new customers and that value changes or the low income changes, we can have the correct data come out. So now you can see I've got all this customer stuff, but it says to just output the name. So let's just get a customer full name. Notice it's automatically concatenated. When I say just output the name, I just add that together. I'm going to grab from this first query all the way up here, the first query we did. I'm going to borrow that column and I'm just going to paste it right in there. So now we're only outputting the customer's full name. You can see I have the calculated information, so I've appended one string onto the other, and I've used an as operator to rename this field. So there, that one's taken care of. That was a subquery issue. Now what about this one? This one says which customer has the highest income. Notice it's actually quite simple to do this. 3B, I'm going to copy that text here. I'm going to say highest income. We can actually, more or less, if you got a question like that, copy and paste it. I've still got the same output. All I need to do is change my subquery to say max. So now I'm finding out who has the highest income. Then I'm using it to substitute a value here. That's what the brackets are about. And I'm putting it in after an equal sign to say I want my customer income to equal to the total, like the maximum customer income. Okay, now 3C. 3C. This one's a little tougher, and it's a little beyond what I'll ask you for in the test, but it isn't far beyond what you might encounter in an actual live situation. And this occurs in gaming. It occurs in every kind of data. You need to sometimes find out how many of something fit into a certain criteria, and sometimes that criteria also requires you to figure something else out first. So let's try to get all this into one big query. So how many, we know how many says count, customers have less than the average income. Okay, so we need to know the average income, and then we can figure out how many. And to figure out how many, we have to do well, this gets a little bit confusing, doesn't it? That's why I put the tips in. So first figure out how to get a list of customers who have less than the average income. Then we can count that list. All right, so I'm going to copy the whole question here, just this one. Copy it in, paste. All right, so oh, hold on. Let's find out what the average income is first. ABG cost income. We know cost income because we've used it a couple of times so far. That's going to be our subquery, and we want to know if something is less than the average. So that would be probably somebody else's income, and that's in the where criteria. And again, we're just going to grab it from customer. How many customers have less than the average income? Well, we know who now has less than the average income. All we need to do now is change that who into a how many, because we weren't asking who in the first place. And if we have a look at our sample output, we see it says number below AVG income, so that's what I'm going to put in as my label again. And it comes out looking just like you would expect. All right, and that's it for section 3. I'll come back with section 4 in a moment.